What is it about the music we make that makes it the music of yesterday, today, and forever? Maybe that today is a result of the yesterdays spent in wooden churches, singing the praises of our Maker in joyous harmony and love, full of promise and determination, and unity and humanity. My loved ones, today is the birthplace of forever.
What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be visiting the house where singer Marvin Gaye was murdered by his father, Marvin Sr. Marvin Gay Jr. was born April 2nd, 1939 in Washington, D.C. He is well known for helping shape the sound of Motown in the 1960s. Motown is a style of rhythm and blues music that was named after the recording company Motown in Detroit. When Marvin was 4 years old, he started singing in church. His dad would play the piano. He was encouraged to pursue a musical career after he performed at a school play when he was 11 years old, singing Mario Lanza's Be My Love. It was no secret that Marvin and his dad had some problems growing up. He described living at his dad's house similar to living with a king. A cruel and all-powerful king. Marvin's sister speaking out later, describing their childhood and past, and she said that Marvin was, beaten by his dad. In junior high, he took singing more seriously, and he joined and became a singing star with the Randall Junior High Glee Club. Alright, you guys, here is the house where Marvin Gaye was, murdered by his father, Marvin Gay Sr. right here in Los Angeles. From pictures I saw online, the house looks pretty much the same. Yeah, in 1957, when Marvin was 17 years old, he dropped out of high school. He enlisted in the U.S. Air Force. Being disappointed in being there, he faked a mental illness and he was discharged. When Marvin returned from the Air Force, he and his good friend Reese Palmer formed the group The Marquis. The group performed in the Washington, D.C. area, and they began working with Bo Diddley, who was another artist, and he got the group Marquis signed to Columbia's OK Records. Yeah, he tried to get them signed with his own label, Chess, but they did not sign them. Their group's solo single, Wyatt Earp, which was co-written by Bo Diddley, failed to make it on the charts, so the group was dropped from their label. The group Moonglow's co-founder Harvey Fuqua later worked with the Marquis. The group changed its name to Harvey and the New Moonglows. The group worked as session singers for Chuck Berry, singing on the hits Back in the USA and Almost Grown. In 1960, they broke up and Marvin relocated to Detroit with Fuqua, and that's where he signed with Tri-Fi Records. In December 1960, Marvin made a name for himself. He performed at Berry Gordy's house, who was the president of Motown Records. He impressed Berry Gordy. Gordy talked to Harvey about his contract with Marvin. He agreed to release Marvin, and Marvin signed with Motown's Tamla. When Marvin signed with Motown's Tamla, he was pursuing a career in jazz, and he had no desire in becoming an R&B singer. Marvin began singing duets with Tammy Terrell, and we still hear their songs today, over 50 years ago. Yeah, in 1967, she collapsed on stage in Marvin Gaye's arms, and she was diagnosed with a brain tumor. She was able to keep making music, but eventually she couldn't do it anymore. During the time Tammy was sick, Marvin fell into a dark place. He took time off of music. Tammy died March 16th, 1970. They sang many songs together, many duets. When she passed, he lost his love for music. They had a really close connection. She was his world, He even asked how can he make love songs if, you know, the last thing on his mind was love. He didn't see love anywhere in the world at that time. You know, with the riots going on, the Watts riots, Detroit riots, Martin Luther King just got assassinated, Robert F. Kennedy just got assassinated. His brother even, you know, telling him stories about the war in Vietnam, how all the death was happening. After Motown was calling him, you know, telling him to start working on music, you know, he couldn't. In 1968, he befriended Detroit Lions Mel Farr and Lem Barney. In 1970, Mel, Lem, and Marvin were playing golf, and Marvin tells them, you know, about a protest song that they want him to do, but he wasn't sure about it. Mel and Lem encouraged him to do it because it was a song that reflected what's going on around the world. Marvin agrees he'll do it, but he will only do it on one occasion. If Mel and Lem would appear on the song with him. They do, and you can hear them at the very beginning of the song talking to Marvin, and they end up getting gold records for it. Crazy story too, Marvin even wants to try out for the Detroit Lions. He eventually tries out, they agree, but you know, with his career and everything, they don't want to, you know, give it a risk because he had no experience in football, neither college or high school. You know, they loved the fact that he tried, and you know, he was a really good athlete, they said, really dedicated. They had to decline his offer to play. In early 1984, Marvin moved in with his parents. April 1st, 1984, right here at his family home, right here in the West Adams district in Los Angeles. He got into an altercation with his dad, Marvin Gay Sr. His dad ends up shooting him once in the chest, piercing his heart, and then into his shoulder, and that shooting was in Marvin's bedroom. It happened around 12:30 in the afternoon, so it was broad daylight out. Marvin was then transferred to California Hospital, and that's when he was pronounced dead around 1 p.m. Marvin Gaye died one day before his 45th birthday. Must have been a crazy time for the family. Marvin Sr. getting arrested and Marvin Jr. being killed all around the birthday of Marvin Gaye. There's a verse in the song What's Going On, and in that verse it says, "Father, we don't need to escalate. War is not the answer, and only love can conquer hate." During that time the song was released, the Vietnam War was going on, so you know, without anybody knowing the true meaning of that, you know, there was deeper meaning to that, because even his father didn't have a really good relationship. So that verse says a lot about their relationship, and it's pretty sad. There is no final resting place for Marvin Gaye Jr. His body was cremated at Forest Lawn, Hollywood Hills. Marvin Gaye's dad and his killer was charged with first-degree murder at first, but they were reduced to voluntary manslaughter because he was diagnosed with a brain tumor. Marvin Sr. was given a suspended 6-year sentence, and that means that he did not end up serving time for the death of his son. He was sentenced to probation though, and he ended up dying at a nursing home in 1998. A really historical house right here. I've always passed by it, and I'm really glad I stopped by today. Alright everyone, that's going to be it for me here in front of Marvin Gaye's house and where he died. Thanks to the owner for being so nice, and thank you guys for joining me. If you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.